Hi guys, I just thought I'd make a video about bronzers for really fair skin tones because it's something that I've always been struggling with, and I've always searched for videos on YouTube, you know, telling you about the best foundation for fair skin, the best bronzer for fair skin, but they all mention, you know, Chanel bronzers, Hoola by Benefit, and I've tried those. And if you're extremely pale, if you're white as snow, those bronzers are not going to work for you. So I thought that I'd just come up with some of my favorites, and hopefully I can help out a fellow paley out there. So what are the things you have to think about when buying a bronzer for pale skin? First of all, you have to think of hair color and skin tone. I used to have very dark blonde hair with red undertones, and I used to have a lot of freckles. So when I tanned, I used to tan into a very red color and I would get loads of freckles. With age, that has changed. Now I have a more kind of golden blonde color, and when I tan, I first get red and then I turn into this beigey pale color. So, you know, you have to also think about that pale skins are very translucent, transparent. It's hard to explain, but when you're looking at pale skin, you can see every single flaw. If you already are bronzed and you put on a blusher or lipstick and concealer and, you know, you do a full face of makeup, you can actually make everything blend in seamlessly. But when you are pale, every single color has to be very thought out, because, you know, the reason why you don't wear white clothes is because you would see every single, you know, dirt that gets on it. And, you know, you have a white sheet of paper, you know, one stain and you can tell that there's something on there. It's the same with pale skin. You have to be really careful with the colors and the application. So I always go for very, very sheer formulas. Very sheer and without glitter, without shimmer, but still not too matte, because matte will make your skin look really dull, especially if you're pale. So you have to find something that's in between. This video can only be like 10 to 15 minutes long, so I'm gonna break it down as quick as I can. So I'm gonna start with the palest of the palest skin tones. My holy grail is Kjaer Weis Desired Glow, which is basically a cream blush, and it's this color right here. It can look a bit too orangey in the pan, but once you put it on and you start blending it out, preferably, you know, I do it with a brush to get a flawless finish, and it just warms up the skin tone. And that is really important when you're thinking about bronzing for fair skin tones. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily bronzing, like bronzing if you had a medium skin tone. When it comes to bronzing for pale skins, it's more about giving your skin that glow, that youthful freshness, like you've just been on holiday and, you know, you got some color. It's not really about bronzing, because you can't have a bronzed face and pale. You know, it looks really weird. Some people can pull it off, but if you're extremely pale, it doesn't work that way. So Kjaer Weis, definitely holy great material if you are extremely pale and you have dry skin. Next holy grail is Guerlain Terracotta Mineral, and I have it in 02 medium because I can, when I self-tan, I can actually build this up and it will work for me. But if you're extremely pale, the 01 will be perfect. It will just give you that youthful glow again. It's all about glow to the skin. Warms up the skin a bit, but it doesn't look pink, it doesn't look yellow. It looks kind of beigey, caramelly, but still very light. And of course it's sheer, so again, perfect. Next one is, I don't have it with me, but I've tried it a million times, and it's the Giorgio Armani blush in number 5. And this is a perfect bronzer for redheads. It's, you know, if all other skin tones can use this as a contouring powder or just a very light blush, if you're into strong eyes and nude lips and you just want the blush to be very subtle. But for redheads, if you put it on more concentrated on your temples and cheeks and nose, it actually looks like a true, like you've just got back from vacation, because when you're a redhead you do get red and you get loads of freckles, and that mimics that dewy freshness. I don't know what it is about that blush, but it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous on the palest skin tones. Also, again, it's very sheer, but it does work, and at first it will look a bit too red, but just give it an hour or two and it starts to just mold your face, and it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. My next bronzer is the Diorskin Nude Tan in Healthy Glow, and I have the darkest color because I use this when I self-tan. There are other colors also. Again, what I love about this is that it's very sheer, it's very buildable, but it's very hard to overdo it, and suits most skin tones. And what else? If you're pale and you do self-tanning, again, that doesn't mean that you can go out and buy a Guerlain bronzer or NARS bronzer, because those are really opaque. You still have to use sheer colors, because when a pale person uses self-tanner, you're just giving a more yellow tint to your skin. You're not actually making a deep brown color. You will never ever get a deep brown color with self-tanner if you are extremely pale. You will only get a subtle glow, or in best case you will make your skin appear 3-4 shades darker than it is, but you know, you won't look like a bronzed goddess. You will only get that glow. And that means that also, even because it's a tint you're giving to your skin, the bronzer that you're using also has to be sheer and give a tint. Just, you know, a sheer covered, like, it can't be opaque and cover your face, because it will look horrible in real life, in sunlight, on photos. It just doesn't look good. And this is the darkest color, I know, but it's such a nice caramelly peachy color, and I think it just warms up the skin tone so beautifully, like no other bronzer. And I have really sheer light bronzers, and I wanted something a bit darker but still not extreme as Guerlain Four Seasons, which I've tried, and it's either too muddy or too red. The same with the Hula bronzer. I don't get why people like that bronzer, because especially, you know, people are always saying that, oh, it's a perfect bronzer for fair skin tones, but it's not. Like, every time I see a makeup artist use it on very fair skin tones, it looks muddy. It just drains the face, and no. I have 3 other bronzers that I haven't tried. I've swatched them and I've seen other people use them, but I've never purchased them myself, but I can recommend them I've read loads of reviews. So the first one is the Becca Bronzing and Highlighting Duo in, I think it's called Sienna. It's mineral, so that's a plus, and it looks very natural. It gives a bit of a glow, and it has a highlighter, which is very subtle. It doesn't have any shimmer particles. It has that glow, and I would purchase it if I didn't already have bronzers that I'm using. And the other one is MAC Mineralize Skinfinish in medium. Yes, medium. It's a very beigey color. I do like it. I have tried it on myself, and it just, again, like the Kjaer Weis Desired Glow, it gives that freshness to the skin. It gives this beigey tint to it, and I really like that. But it does have shimmer particles, and I'm not a huge fan of shimmer. And really, when it comes to very pale bronzers, I want to use them during the day. therefore I don't want any shimmer whatsoever. Third product that I haven't tried, but I've read loads of reviews and I've seen people use it, and it's the Dr. Hauschka bronzing concentrate, something like that. Basically it's a fluid and it's matte, and when you pump it out, it comes out as a very, very dark bronze fluid. As soon as you mix it in with your skin or with a moisturizer and put it on your skin, it just livens up. And it's perfect if you're really pale and you have pale foundations but you don't want to buy a summer foundation. So just buy that and put it into your foundation during the summer, and you can use it. It just kind of gives, again, livens up, freshens up, makes your foundation a bit darker, and it's natural and organic, so why not? So definitely try that if you have dry skin or you're looking for something to mix in with your foundation. For some, I know that for some, bronzing powders just don't work. Those are my tips, or whatever you want to call them, about bronzing for pale skin. Really, I think you should embrace paleness, but at the same time, I know how irritating it is to, sometimes you feel embarrassed about your skin, because when you're pale, again, every single flaw shows up, like your veins and redness, and everything just shows off. And so I've been to spray tanning a couple of times, and I've never felt, maybe it's the wrong word for YouTube, but sexy. Yes, I've never felt that sexy as I did when I got a spray tan. Like, my body looked it looked toner and more fit, and I felt so womanly in a way. So I do get the bronzing hype, like I do, but it's all about customizing. Really, you have to customize it to your natural skin tone, otherwise it won't work. Hopefully this video did give you some insight. If you need bronzing and you're pale, it's okay, but one thing I want to say, stay away from Benefit Hoola, stay away from Chanel bronzers because they're very orange, very brown, stay away from Guerlain. What else? It's better to apply too little than too much. If you've bought a bronzer that is too yellow, if you have very pink undertones and you bought a bronzer that is a bit more yellow toned and looks a bit yellow when you put it on, then don't just put it on the temples and cheekbones and whatever. Just put a very thin layer all over the face, because that will neutralize any redness that you have, but still give you a bit of a glow. But again, very, very sheer, very sheer. Because sometimes I see pale girls use bronzer and they have these kind of orangey strips, like here and here. Like, they've done the 3 thingy, but it doesn't look natural as it's supposed to. But so just, do a sheer layer all over and down your neck, and that will give you a just fresh, desired glow. So thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I've helped a fellow paley out there, and see you next time.